Purpose of this hearing is to discuss the United States competition with China and learn how the administration is working to maintain a strong U.S. presence in the Indo-Pacific. I recognize myself for an opening statement. We stand at a pivotal moment in history where the dynamics of global power are shifting rapidly. The great power competition with China is not just a contest of military might or economic dominance. It is a struggle over the rules which will shape the 21st century and the global balance of power. This is not a future threat or an isolated problem on the other side of the world. The CCP poses immediate danger to the security interest of the United States and our allies. China is working every day to undermine our safety, prosperity, and values of the U.S. Just look at the recent news of an embedded spy in the New York governor's office. They've escalated their military activities, conducted aggressive drills around Taiwan that I've seen firsthand, and increased their belligerence in the South China Sea, particularly against our allies in the Philippines, that our delegation on a recent trip witnessed also firsthand. They are ramming their ships, cutting off sailors' fingers, using high-powered lasers to blind the Philippine Coast Guard. I saw the CCP's Coast Guard and maritime militia presence again when we flew over the South China Sea during a CODEL which I led. Following my visit, China continued to ratchet up their actions against our partners in the Philippines. The CCP's actions are not isolated incidents, but part of a broader strategy to assert dominance in the region, challenging international norms, threatening the sovereignty of neighboring countries. Look no further than the oppression of the CCP's own citizens. The Uyghurs, the Tibetans, we recently visited the Dalai Lama, and Christians live in fear, practicing their religion. In fact, a genocide is still taking place in the Xinjiang province. For Tibetans, the CCP is attempting to insert themselves into the succession of the Dalai Lama. And Chairman Xi's commitment to unify with Taiwan is no longer an idle threat. This is why partnerships such as the Quad, AUKUS, and the Trilateral Partnership with Japan and South Korea are critical to countering China. Specifically with regards to the Quad, we must strengthen ties with India to ensure the two largest democracies in the world are working together to advocate and safeguard democracy. While these partnerships are critical to countering China, I must say I've been disappointed that it has not gone further. The congressionally mandated AUKUS defense trade exemption was delivered 4 months late. The administration still maintains a lengthy excluded technology list that limits its effectiveness. I believe it gets the bill and undermines Congress's intent. These are our closest allies, our Five Eyes partners, with whom we share our most sensitive intelligence. The failure to advance and strengthen these partnerships directly correlates to emboldening the CCP. There is no NATO in the Indo-Pacific, which is why it's imperative we strengthen our partnerships with democracies in the region. However, China's influence extends beyond the Indo-Pacific. The tentacles of the CCP reach every corner of the globe. Their Belt and Road Initiative is a tool for expanding their geopolitical influence, often at the expense of the sovereignty and economic stability of other nations. They have fueled conflicts, such as the war in Ukraine, by supporting Russia's defense industrial base. And Russia, in return, as part of their No Limits partnership, has shared sensitive technology with China. Just the other week, you said Russia is providing China with, quote, submarine operations, activities of aeronautical design, including stealth that also involves capacities on missile capabilities. I don't understand why we don't have sanctions on China to stop them from revitalizing Russia's military. To me, that's absolutely essential. We passed in the supplemental sanctions on Iran, on missiles and drones that are still being shipped to Russia to kill Ukrainians. So as Mr. Meeks and I work on a supplemental to get the funding, to get the weapons, the very instruments of war being shipped from Iran to Russia are not being sanctioned as required by law. I want to thank you, Deputy Secretary. I know we've had a lot of good visits together, and sometimes in other countries. I couldn't agree with you more that countering the CCP must be our top priority. We had a great trip to the Indo-Pacific. I thought the embassy was fantastic in our trip. And on this one, we're not political parties. Mr. Meeks and I want to work with you and this administration on what is in the best interest of the American people. And so with that, I now recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Meeks.